Welcome to another episode of the Wealth Building Strategies Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Constantino. And today I'm privileged to have on as a guest Amber Fleming. Welcome, Amber.
Well, hi, Jeremy. I'm excited to have this call with you.
Nice to see you. I think we saw each other at Raise Fest, awesome conference for real estate investors in Louisville a couple weeks ago.
Yes, absolutely. It was great. And I got to do what I love to do and meet more people and see you again, of course. And it was beautiful out there. It was a awesome event. So kudos to Mr. Hunter Thompson for putting on a great event.
That's right. So for the listeners that don't know Amber is a seasoned real estate professional. So you've been in real estate sales as an agent since 1997. So I think before the show we were contemplating how many transactions, how many sales volumes, but I think we settled that we can't even count that high.
I don't like to brag. No, I'm just kidding.
So congratulations. So yeah, the majority of our listeners are real estate agents and brokers, and my primary focus for this podcast is really educating real estate agents and brokers on real estate investing. So that's the primary reason why I wanted you to come on as a guest, was to really give an encouragement and some education to our agents and brokers out there that may not even know what we're talking about as far as real estate investing in syndications and commercial real estate. But in addition to you being in sales, you've now gotten into commercial real estate syndications in the last couple of years, and I think we're counting, and you've done about 5 syndications now in just those last couple of years. So congratulations on your success in real estate sales and now success in real estate investing.
Thank you, thank you. And actually, I've only started raising since last May,
Oh,
so not even a year yet. I just basically went and joined some masterminds and wanted to get the education first before I went out there and did these huge projects, because they can be scary even for someone like me. So I can totally understand why our investors, may be standoffish or worried about these big type deals, because until 2 years ago, even me being in the business for 26 years, I didn't even know these existed. And so the last 2 years, I was like, why didn't I know about this before? And I'm kicking myself. I wish I would have, because I would have started it much sooner. But, just going full steam ahead and just wanted to, like I said, get all the education and everything, learn all I can about them before, going again full steam ahead, and starting getting into projects as of May of last year.
all right. So I'm a real estate agent, real estate broker, also have multiple real estate offices, and I was first a real estate investor. And so I got into the brokerage side to help and enhance my real estate investing business. Now you're the other way. You started out in real estate sales and real estate brokerage. So how did you stumble across commercial real estate and syndications, multifamily? So explain
Well,
to us how all this started.
I mean, I've done, residential, even worked for a builder since I started. But for the last like 10 years, I also moved over into commercial as well. So knew about the multifamily and knew about the self-storage and all the different asset classes that come along with commercial real estate. The only thing is I knew nothing about the syndication. I, just like anyone else, was like, well, I can't buy these things. I mean, it's millions of dollars. And that's the general misconception, that a lot of the investors have no idea that they actually have the ability to get into these very large opportunities and be able to put in, pennies on the dollar for what they think they can put in. and be able to sit back and invest passively and be able to just collect checks. Now, whether it's something they do full time or whether it's while they're at their corporate job and just have, additional monies coming in. We've talked about this, that, we're trying to educate our friends, family, coworkers, and everyone to be able to, take full advantage of this. And it's really exciting because I'm taking advantage of it with them and investing right alongside them in the deals that I actually bring to them.
So what made you get, so there's one thing to say, all right, I'm going to start investing passively into some of these, but you've taken it to the next level. You said, okay, I want to join a mastermind. And so, I joined the same mastermind. So it's a healthy investment just to be a part of the elite mastermind. So I guess what made you want to say, wow, I want to really get involved?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I mean, this just like I do. We're both agents, brokers. We, are very transactional based, and it can be tiring. And again, me doing this as long as I am tired, So I said, I want to, have a work-life balance. And I don't have that right now, and I'm working towards that. So I was looking to kind of move, and I'll never quit, regular everyday real estate, just because I have so many people, repeats, referrals, and all that, and I definitely can't leave them. But I'd like to transition to be heavily more into this space, because even though it's a different type of transaction, it's still a lot of work. It's just different hard work. So I can actually go out and, go on vacation for a week and not have my phone slammed, with texts and emails and phone calls, even on my vacation. And I know there's a lot of people out there that probably want the same thing. And that's something, you and I have talked about, where we want to help not only our other investors, but other agents like ourselves, because we totally get it. Right. We get what they go through and that they have no life. If you're a successful realtor, I want to get a life, and I'd love to help, my other agent friends do the same.
Yeah, you're hitting a lot of pain points in what you just said. And to me, getting into residential sales was I just wanted to get into brokerage, but immediately I realized that residential sales is not a 9 to 5 job. It is a
Right.
on the weekend nonstop. Like, you have no weekends, you have no nights. You're doing contracts at 2, 3, 2 in the morning, back and forth negotiating there. So there's no nights, there's no weekends. Flip flop to commercial real estate, it really is 9 to 5. There's no reason why we should be negotiating in the evenings or on the weekends. And from what I've gathered these last couple of years that only doing commercial, it's 9 to 5. I don't, and I think you and we're partnering on deals. I don't email you on the weekends, and we don't bother each other on the weekends. But it's an important pain point that residential agents really are struggling with.
Oh, absolutely. And like I said, I want to get myself to a point where I can go to the beach and just relax and, take advantage of my hard work. And because I have put bluntly busted my tail, to get where I am now. And so I want to reap the rewards of my hard work and be able to, continue to take advantage and, just move to a position to where I can enjoy my life more.
Yep.
And again, help our friends to
yep.
do the same.
So now you're really talking about this other pain point that all of us agents have to deal with. Is, you said it earlier, it's a transactional based. So we get a paycheck when we sell a property. Right. And if we're not in production, there's no paychecks coming. Mm-hmm. And so thus the reason why we need, as agents, we must have that residual passive income coming in so that we can take the long vacations, or, when we're getting in our 40s and 50s, we're like, okay, I really don't want to be in production all the time. Maybe you just do two, three, four, five deals a year, and
Yeah.
right now we're doing two, three, four, five deals a month. But yeah, we
Mhm.
want to go down, but we want our same level of income coming in. So that's our pain. So what's the solution?
And that's why, doing these type deals, having that passive income come in, the cash flow come in quarterly and monthly, we don't have to panic if we have a bad month
Exactly.
or bad
Exactly.
few months, or a pandemic comes
Right.
through. Although I was just as busy for the pandemic. I don't know about you, but down here in Florida, everyone like just was like, we're leaving, we're going to Florida. So I did not have one bit of a break.
Yep. So even
Not complaining.
so not even a pandemic right now in the MLSs that I'm in, we've seen 30-40% drop year over year in transactional sales. So I was just looking at the top producers in our MLSs, and they're down 30-40% year over year, because there's tight supply. Nobody's wanting to sell, not too many buyers. So yeah, being transactionally based, there's a lot of agents out there that really need to have this extra income coming in.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so let's transition. So talk about last year. You were a fund manager for what I thought was a phenomenal project, and and we knew each other because we met in our mastermind in Miami. And for some reason, I didn't even know about the project. But then I think you just off the cuff told me that you have this exciting project, and you said a couple things, and right in my mind right away, I was like, I need to invest in this now. So I guess tell the listeners what this great project that you were fund manager on last year.
Yeah, I mean, it is funny how it came about because when we met in Miami, we just talked about how we want to help other agents. And then here I was with this, short-term rental portfolio fund. And you and I were on a call to be able to kind of talk about what our game plan was going to be. And then I mentioned it, and you were like, what? That's what I want to invest in that. Like it was like, I was like, wow, this is like the easiest I've ever had.
Because it was what I was looking for. You had something that I was looking for, and there's nothing out it there. And that was the thing, is that there is no other alternative type investment like that. And I was looking for that, and I actually wanted to do that. And I don't know if I told you, but I wanted to actually start up a fund, a residential long-term single family rental portfolio. And I already picked out my markets and already had my business plan. And I was actually I don't know if I told you that, but I was
I
gonna
think you mentioned it, but you didn't go into detail. Yeah.
so I was already gonna do that. But short-term rental is on steroid. The rental income is on steroids compared to long-term rental, and the yield and the profitability is so much greater in short-term rental. And so right when you said that, I was like, holy cow, that's what I want to do. I'm invested, and guess what? I don't have to do any of the work. So
Yeah, yeah. Well, and there's a lot of popular real estate asset classes, but this just happens to be something that's kind of newer. And so everyone's like, what is this? What is this? And there's a lot of people that have wanted to get into this space of just short-term rentals in general. And with that being said, they're trying to figure out, do I want to do that and manage it and have to
hell
deal
no.
with
I don't want to do
maintenance and all that? Yeah. And so that's what's awesome about these funds, because we don't have to do any of that as passive investors, and you can still invest in those very popular short-term rental asset class now. And the fund that I was in, obviously it's the same as the one that we're getting ready to do with the same group. But we just started it at the end of the year, and it like blew up. We had gotten 81 properties, and actually 8 of them we had exited out of. So there was still like 70 some, and amazing returns. Like I don't know if anyone thought they were going to be like that, but our fourth quarter actually had another record from the previous. It just kept getting records and significant growth. So we had actually crossed the $1 million in booked revenue through quarter three. Well, in quarter four alone, we saw over 841.
Wow.
And that was just for that, quarter alone. And what they're forecasting or had forecasted to beat our property projections by over 30% on what they originally forecasted, which is amazing. And so I was like, they asked us if we wanted to do it again. I was like, absolutely. And then you had mentioned you were going to do it. And I was like, what? We need to do it together. And here we are.
Yeah. So full disclosure to the listeners out there. So Amber and I, we've partnered together. It's called Fund Managers. So we're fund managers partnering together to take down this awesome opportunity now in 2023. So I guess talk about our plans for 2023 in the short-term rental fund.
Yeah, so this is going to be a short-term rental fund number 2 with the same group that I actually worked with on the previous TechVestor. So the new one is going to be even bigger and better. And the potential is going to be 250 plus properties. They're even targeting up to 300 across the country, and of course the hottest markets. So the beautiful thing about that is, there's going to be different times a year that certain markets are hotter than others. So for example, here in Florida, it's most hot here year round. So we obviously have a lot in Florida. Other markets like, Philadelphia, Texas, Nashville, Arizona. We even have in the original fund, we have a bunch of the short-term rentals in Phoenix. And they had said they were actually getting in some properties over $30,000 a night because for the Super Bowl.
For the Super Bowl, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So, and we have some similar returns. I don't know if you had that offhand that you.
I didn't bring it up right now. I don't have it.
Oh, no worries.
But yeah, I
Go
can
ahead.
briefly, in general, they were targeting, I think around 15 to 16, 17% return on investment for the passive investor, trying to target to double an investor's investment within, 5 years, 6 years. So a fantastic opportunity for passive investors to possibly double their investment, to possibly, getting 15, 16, 17% return on investment. And what I like about it the most is it's diversified markets across the country. So I don't want this to, this is not really a pitch for the short-term fund too, but I guess it may be, but that's the point.
We're having a webinar.
we're having, exactly. The point for this podcast is really educating the investors, but also to take action, and especially the realtors, the brokers out there, take action, start investing. And if it's not going to be in our fund, find another fund, and that's fine. But we all feel the pain of being having our income based on a transactional based, and you got families. If you have a family, you're gonna have to provide for that family. You're gonna have to have some passive income. So I guess do you have any last words for the listeners and the audience?
Actually, yes. And this would go for, pretty much anyone out there, corporate job, especially even our agents. One thing that I also did not even know about that I could be kicking myself for is the fact that we have available to us a self-directed IRA option. Also, they have solo 401ks, which I know Jeremy has one and I have one because we are realtors and they give us a little more additional tax benefits. But I still cannot believe I didn't know about this either. So if I personally didn't know about it, being in real estate for 26 years, then I know there's a ton of agents out there that were not aware. I personally have now done this for myself with a solo 401k and invested passively. And I definitely know Jeremy did, because Jeremy did invest in my short-term rental fund number one, and that's how he did it. But it is, a great way that if you don't want to give up all your cash, or you don't have a lot of cash, but you have this 401k or an IRA that's just sitting there and either losing money, which is what happened to mine earlier last year, which is what made me find out about this and move in this direction. It's just another great option that if you want to potentially look at other options for some potential higher returns, talk to someone that like a custodian that has the ability to give you more information on these self-directed IRAs or solo 401ks, because you may not think that you can invest just because you're not cash heavy, but if you have one of these available, then you have the potential to potentially do it. And feel free to reach out to us, and we can, direct you into someone that can give you the information.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. And many people,
Mm-hmm.
they it's two things. They don't think that they have enough down payment, and they don't have enough down payment to take down a big commercial building or commercial retail space or multifamily. So there's syndications you can get in with lower amount. But then even they're like, man, do I really want to spend 50,000 or 100,000 or 25,000, whatever the minimum is for syndication? Then they start thinking, well, I really don't want to use my cash. But they're sitting on an IRA where you could roll it over to a self-directed IRA, and you're not going to see that money anyway. And I don't want to get on the whole why we should just get out of the stock market anyway, but yeah, you could get a higher return in real estate. Yeah, you can get a higher return in real estate. It's safer, less volatile. And actually in December this last year, I had my 401k with my previous employer, Chevron Oil and Gas, and I had a nice nest egg, and I was just done. I was fed up completely with the stock market and just how volatile it was, and how the valuations of each company are not based on their performance, and it's just driving me nuts. So I completely cashed out. I'm completely out of the stock market, global stock markets, and only in a passive commercial real estate deal. So I just, at the end of December, just at home, I was just like, okay, 25K here, 50K here, 25K. And I just boom, 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 divided it all up. And now I'm all in on commercial real estate. And there's such a more peace of mind not worrying about the volatility of the stock market and knowing that my money's safe and backed by real assets.
Yeah. And honestly, that's exactly what I did. I lost, like, in a few months from the beginning of January, like 56,000 out of one of my accounts. I'm like, that's it. I took it all out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So excellent. Any last final thoughts for the listeners?
Well, I mean, you and myself have made it a mission of ours to, work with as many agents as we can to help you, just like we're helping ourselves. Obviously, we're not biased. We work with, many people, and it doesn't have to be agents, but because we're both agents, we understand where you guys are at, and so we kind of made it a little mission of ours to definitely help them. My company name is Regal Capital Partners, and I'm based out of Tampa, Florida. So if you real estate agent, again, for 26 years, and have broker's license, do residential and commercial, and I'm loving life doing these apartment and not just apartment, but syndication models. So we'd love to help if you guys have any questions.
Excellent. So how can the listeners get in contact with Amber?
You can contact me at my email at amber@regalcapitalpartners.com. My cell phone, Hunter freaks out on me. I give out my cell phone, 813-404-1128. He goes, it's those real estate agents. They just pass out their phone number.
You always answer it too. It could be a good lead. You never know.
Yeah. And of course, my website is regalcapitalpartners.com.
Fantastic. And then also, I think, Amber, you mentioned it earlier. Here we're going to be having a live webinar. I don't know when I'm going to be posting this, but hopefully we post it before the live webinar. But you can learn more about our short-term rental fund number 2 by watching the live webinar and by going to our website. So I think that's a wrap for this latest episode of the Wealth Building Strategies podcast. Thank you so much, Amber, for coming on to the show.
Thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate you bringing me on and having this conversation with you. And I look forward to partnering with you on this as well as other opportunities going forward.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amber.